Hey guys, it's Cass. I am going to be doing a video that I should have started planning for a while ago, but I just finished getting everything set up today. And that is one sentence reviews of almost all of the books that I've read in 2023. So this is not going to include any books from November or December because each of those months will have their own wrap-up videos. And this is not going to include any of my 5-star books from the year because those will also have their own separate video. But yeah, I just really wanted to kind of reflect on my reading year. There are 71 books on this list, so this is going to be really rapid fire. Obviously, these are not going to be the most detailed or nuanced takes, but I really just wanted to kind of document the books that I read before starting this channel and just kind of have everything in one place. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. It was a fun way to kind of test my memory. Some of these books I've read, 11 months ago. Yeah, I find that a lot of the time, even though I post about all of the books that I read on Instagram and I use Goodreads, I usually don't really document my thoughts on books there, so that made it tough to kind of have to think back about all of these books. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing it and hope to kind of use this as an exercise in getting those thoughts down just to kind of be able to reference them later on and, look back at what I thought about these books. So I'm not going to ramble on too much longer because I feel like this video is going to be long. So we're going to get into it. Alright, the first book is Jane, a Murder by Maggie Nelson. I rated this 3.75 stars. It was an interesting blend of true crime, diary, and poetry whose themes of girlhood and loss of innocence stood out most to me. A Minor Chorus by Billy Ray Belcourt. I rated this 3.75 stars. It was a poetic, queer perspective on the hard realities of Indigenous life. A Little Life, Hanya Yanagihara. I rated this 4 stars, and the years were not, in fact, happy. Fair Play by Tove Jansson. I rated that 4 stars, and they were short, cozy vignettes about friendship and making art. The White Album by Joan Didion was 3 stars. I don't think I was fully in my essay era when I read it, and therefore did not appreciate it enough. The New Me by Hallie Butler, rated it 4 stars, and that was a depressed woman moving but make it funny. Was one of the funniest books that I read this year. Exteriors by Annie Ernaux, 3 stars. Not my favorite Ernaux because of the lack of interiority that she's kind of known for, but I don't really know what else I was expecting given the title, Exteriors. Chelsea Girls by Eileen Miles, 3 stars. Messy, chaotic, queer vignettes from the 70s that were a bit too disjointed for my taste. Pew by Catherine Lacey, 4.5 stars. An unsettling exploration of identity and how it can be projected onto you by others in the face of uncertainty. Kudos by Rachel Cusk, 3.5 stars. Probably my least favorite of the Outline trilogy, but I would really like to revisit the whole series again eventually. Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Shree, 3 stars. Played with language beautifully, and it was a pleasant audiobook experience, but it dragged on a bit too much in the beginning for me. A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, 3.5 stars. That was the thematic blueprint for a lot of the books that I love, but I don't think that I read it as closely or as thoughtfully as I should have, so I'd like to revisit it at some point. The Virgins, Pamela Aarons, 4 stars. It's a coming-of-age campus romance novel with an unexpected and unreliable narrator. Make It Scream, Make It Burn by Leslie Jamison, 4 stars. This is a book of essays about obsession and longing, and the more personal pieces where she was talking about the end of her relationship had me posting far too many quotes on my Goodreads feed. The Other Name, Septology 1-2 by John Fosse, 3.5 stars. Unrelenting and almost anxiety-inducing stream of consciousness questioning the self and the paths that our lives can take. Agua Viva by Clarice Lispector, 4.5 stars. A short, stunning primer on Lispectorism. The Empathy Exams by Leslie Jamison, 3 stars. Not nearly as many Goodreads quotes posted from this collection, but still a solid group of essays. Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen, 4 stars. This is a detailed study of a family that is somehow sprawling even though it's set over the course of one day. It's exploring religion, politics, and morality. Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason, 4 stars, an honest, witty depiction of a woman grappling with mental illness, a failed marriage, and the desire for motherhood. Song of Solomon, Toni Morrison, 3.5 stars, a coming-of-age story with incredibly well-fleshed-out characters about a man trying to discover his roots. The Dry Heart by Natalia Ginzburg, 4.5 stars, short, propulsive, circular storytelling with Ginzburg's sharp, spare prose. 3 by Anne Quinn, 2.5 stars. Sections of this book were written as audio tapes and recordings from one of the characters, and that format really kind of took me out of it, didn't work for me, but I would try another book by Anne Quinn. Spring by Karl Ove Knausgaard, 4 stars. I found this really interesting as a companion piece to October Child by his wife Linda, which I'll talk about in my 5-star reads video, but they're both accounts of Linda's struggle with mental illness and its effect on their marriage and their parenting. The Secret History by Donna Tartt, 4 stars. I'm not a dark academia lover, but the plot had me on the edge of my seat in this one. Real Estate by Deborah Levy, 4.5 stars. This is my favorite of the living autobiography, and it's also riffing on Virginia Woolf's idea of a room of one's own. I really love Levy's voice and her prose style. After Sappho by Selby Wynne Schwartz, 3.5 stars. I enjoyed this creative nonfiction look at the way that all of the women's lives weave together, but I wish that I had read it over a shorter period of time. I feel like I didn't enjoy it as much because I really spread out the reading process. Biography of X by Catherine Lacey, 4 stars. It's an interesting experiment in form, character study, and an alternate US history. Bodywork by Melissa Febos, 4 stars. Slim essay collection focused on the craft of memoir and personal writing. I think it would be super insightful for any aspiring writers. Unfinished Business, Notes of a Chronic Rereader by Vivian Gornick, 3.5 stars. This made me want to reread more often, which I don't do, but it's the thought that counts. Second Place by Rachel Cusk, 3 stars. A thought-provoking rendering of an uncomfortable situation dealing with relationships, gender roles, and creating art. Drifts by Kate Zambrino, 3 stars. This is autofiction on writing, time, and motherhood that didn't fully connect with me. The Woman Destroyed by Simone de Beauvoir, 4 stars. Simone takes you inside the lives of 3 women who are on the threshold and are reckoning with strained romantic and familial relationships, as well as the loss of their youth. Sempre Susan, a memoir of Susan Sontag by Sigrid Nunez, 4 stars. A touching personal account of Nunez's relationship with Sontag and an interesting companion to Sontag's journals, which I read at the beginning of the year, and which will also be discussed in my 5-star reads video. Run River by Joan Didion, 4 stars. This is Didion's first novel, and it delivers some really unlikable, privileged characters, as well as a glimpse of the themes that she would continue to explore throughout her career. 3 Rooms by Jo Hamya, 2.5 stars. This is another one that was kind of going on the concept of a room of one's own, but it lost me with the discussion of current British politics and current events. Spring by Ali Smith, 4 stars. This is my favorite of the seasonal quartet. On Not Knowing by Emily Ogden, 3 stars. I love the theme of the unknown that this was exploring, but it was a bit too big-brained and over my head to really fully connect with me. The Beauty of the Husband by Anne Carson, 3 stars. This is my first Anne Carson, and I definitely did not grasp everything that was going on, but it was really poetic and beautifully written. My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, 4 stars. This is a violent epic about the push and pull of female friendship that has a wide cast of really vibrant characters in a really lively setting. First Love by Gwendolyn Riley, 3 stars. I had a tough time connecting with the characters and the tone of this book, and I also did not realize that it was set in modern day times for an embarrassingly long amount of time. I think at some point in the middle she mentions Google or a cell phone or something, and I was like, hold up. I thought that this was written a couple decades ago. Things I Don't Want to Know by Deborah Levy, 3.5 stars. I did read these out of order, but this is my least favorite of the living autobiography. I'm not sure if the order kind of shifts the perspective that I had on them. The Helios Disaster by Linda Bostrom Knausgaard, 3.5 stars. This is a quick retelling of Athena expanding on Knausgaard's struggles with mental illness. In the Margins by Elena Ferrante, 3.5 stars. I really loved the first half of this book, but the second half went over my head, so I was left feeling a little bit lukewarm about this collection, which focuses on reading and writing. Pawn by Claire Louise Bennett, 4 stars. These are quiet, descriptive, fragmentary vignettes about home and solitude, which was right up my alley. Empty Wardrobes by Maria Giudice de Carvalho, 4.5 stars. This was a well-written tragedy that was translated from the Portuguese about a woman who owns an antique shop. She's grappling with the death of her husband and trying not to become a piece of furniture in her own home. The End of the Story by Lydia Davis, 3.5 stars. This is a love story weaving together the past and the present without any dialogue, which was super interesting. The Last Samurai by Helen DeWitt, 2 stars. If any of you guys have read this book, please sound off in the comments because I did not understand it at all, and I was a little bit disappointed that I made it through 500-600 pages of it without really getting anything from it. Astra Magazine, Filth, 3 stars. This wasn't my favorite theme. It wasn't the most comfortable read for me, but I will always be really sad about the fact that this publication shut down after only 2 issues. Memoirs of a Dutiful Daughter by Simone de Beauvoir, 4 stars. This was a delightful look at the childhood and teenage years of Simone in France with really great descriptions of people that she knew and her feelings at the time. I'm like, how did you remember all of that? The Crane Wife by C.J. Hauser, 4 stars. You know I can't say no to a memoir and essays, and that's what the subtitle of this book was. A Horse at Night on Writing by Amina Kane, 4.5 stars. This book made my TBR list grow exponentially. 3 Summers by Margarita Liberace, 3 stars. This was a very atmosphere and setting heavy story about 3 sisters coming of age in the Greek countryside before World War II. Whereabouts by Jhumpa Lahiri, 4 stars. This was meandering and plotless, but in the absolute best way possible. Very Cold People by Sarah Manguso, 3 stars. This was a dark examination of youth, class, and the way that abuses can be covered up by communities in order to not have to come to terms with them. Stella by Anais Nin. This was a short and ultimately forgettable deep cut from Nin, grappling with an actress's different personas and her love life. Manhattan, Letters from Prehistory by Hélène Cixous, 2 stars. I had a really difficult time following this one, but I am really interested in trying more of her work. Summer Solstice by Nina McLaughlin, 3 stars. This was a pleasant essay about summer that was a very fitting book to kick off my vacation reading this year. Tides by Sarah Freeman, 4.5 stars. This was a moody, bleak, slow burn exploring grief and loss in a coastal town. The Lost Daughter by Elena Ferrante, 4 stars. This was a really unsettling narrative about motherhood with a complex main character and really complicated relationships. Greedy, Notes from a Bisexual Who Wants Too Much by Jen Winston, 4.5 stars. This was a really funny exploration of bisexuality that honestly probably deserved 5 stars for how much it resonated. Calamities by Renee Gladman, 3.5 stars. Fragments dealing with the intricacies of everyday life and the connection between writing and drawing, but I had a really difficult time following some of her trains of thought. Summer by Ali Smith, 3.75 stars. It took until the second half of the book to really pull me in, and I would recommend reading the seasonal quartet in close succession because I feel like I missed a lot of the nuances and the connections between the books because I read them over a pretty long period of time, I think over a year or so. The Lonely City by Olivia Lang, 4 stars. Really interesting combination of art writing, biography, and memoir, all connected with a thread of loneliness. Strega by Johan Licky Holm. Dark and atmospheric look at female friendship and violence against women and girls. Coventry by Rachel Cusk, 3.75 stars. This was a wide-ranging introduction to Cusk's nonfiction, but I personally prefer her more thematically focused collections like Aftermath and A Life's Work. The Folded Clock, A Diary by Heidi Julavitz, 3.5 stars. I love a diary moment, but I listened to this as an audiobook and I feel like that was not really the format for it to shine for me. The Details by Yaa Genberg, 4 stars. This is a fever dream painting portraits of people from the narrator's past, and it really showed how we're impacted by the people that we've known. Monsters, A Fan's Dilemma by Claire Dederer, 4.5 stars. This is a book that doesn't have all of the answers to the questions that it's asking, but it definitely makes you think about how we reckon with loving the works of people who have done monstrous things, which I feel like is such a prevalent issue in culture today. Thin Places by Jordan Kistner, 3.75 stars. This was a solid essay collection, explored spirituality and the boundaries of the self. The Golden Notebook by Doris Lessing, 3 stars. This had an interesting form combining novel and notebooks, but I think that it was overwritten and difficult to connect with. Greek Lessons by Hong Kong, 4 stars. This was a beautifully written but sometimes a bit opaque story about an unlikely pair of a teacher and a student, but not in like a creepy way. Okay, that did not take as long as I thought it would. Hopefully it doesn't take me a super long time to edit as well. We'll see. I hope this was kind of a quick and fun way to get an insight into the kind of books that I'm in, beyond just what I've been reading for the past month or so that I've had this channel. So yeah, we've got some more fun wrap-up videos on the way for the end of the year, and I will see you in those.